Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Even in the updated, these 7 pieces I have added, including Clinton's horoscope, which I will discuss. Then I will go to Ashtakavarga. Clinton, Kennedy, these things I have discussed now. Because now I have been able to collect some authentic information. But as usual, your American biographies are not half as good as British biographies. Englishmen have a sense of history. Americans have a sense of mystery.
From his natal horoscope, would you have said that he has to live long because Saturn is in the 8th house?
Saturn is in the 8th house. Jupiter is aspecting this well. From the moon, this is here. Moon is aspecting this. Venus is aspecting. Where is the difficulty? So I cross-checked, and it is not prashna. It is not horary. My mother told me, if you begin to predict more about marriage, children, and do prashna, you will never be able to do any research in your life. Because that is the question people ask most. In India, in USA, that becomes relationship problem. The same thing. So I said, if I avoid that, I have been able to do research in so many new areas because I avoided these 3 strictly because my great mother told me, my dear fellow, if you want to do research in astrology, don't go into these 3 areas. In later half, I started going. In the earlier period, I never went into this. Because I call prashna an escapist approach to astrology. When it is absolutely necessary, only then do it. Why do you want to take a shortcut in the beginning? Why? Why don't you want to work hard in the beginning so that it becomes easy later? In the beginning, never avoid details. And once you begin to get a judgment of the horoscope, each horoscope has its own throb. The invisible planets, invisible to my naked eye, speak an audible language which I hear. It becomes an audible language for you. The throb of the horoscope. You see, Indian woman, particularly my mother's generation, for them what was life? Pure housewife's life. And we are 8 brothers, sisters, 4 looking after them and doing astrology as usual normally. So she was interested in what? Marriage, children, etc. Prashna she did so much. I have not seen anyone equal to her in prashna. Once in Ahmedabad, I put the horoscopes of 2 children before my mother. She was lying on the bed, she just looked at it like this, put down. Said, go and don't tell them anything. I said, what happened? The first child will die after a week, second child after 6 months. 1 minute. 60 years of saturated experience of seeing so many horoscopes. What she saw in 1 minute, other astrologers will not be able to see in 4 hours. So in the beginning, please take my advice. Don't avoid details. Later you will see how quickly you are able to assess a horoscope. Right? Now we can have tea, come back with the theme of kidnapping. But there a violence is involved, my prestige was involved, Delhi was involved, international this was involved. I am going to give you a big case now. So take tea, and I should not see even a fragment of a yarn on anyone's, right? Let's go and have tea. In this 1 hour's time available to us, I'll go through this case, and this case I'll have an occasion to take up again when I do Gemini with you. I'll read out. Crime is followed by punishment or not? It is sometimes very easy for an astrologer to decide and sometimes very challenging. In my book Astrology, Destiny and the Wheel of Time, in the chapter Crime and Guru's Grace, I have discussed it. Let me, on the basis of that experience, give the case of an ambassador whose kidnapping had become a major topic of discussion in Delhi in October 1991. A friend in Delhi police asked me to work on the problem astrologically. He got the birth details without the birth time. So don't ask me what is the Lagna. Now I'll tax your imagination. That is all the information I have.
Romanian ambassador.
Yes. His name was Radu, R-A-D-U. Now what do I do? I have only 2 bits of information available. Or rather 3. The newspapers carried the report, the pictures of his wife and 2 sons. The facts known to me were he was an ambassador. The other fact known to me was that he was kidnapped in 91 October. The question is, what should be the Lagna? Doing in the South Indian style, one advantage is you can write out, you can put the planets without fixing the Lagna, and you can now exercise your imagination. In the North Indian style, you have to first bring in the Lagna at the top. What should be the Lagna? First settle it. 3 events are known to you. Married, with 2 children, sons, ambassador in a foreign country, kidnapped in October 1991. I'll give you 5 minutes. Don't be in a hurry. Look at the whole thing. Generally what I do is, I take the degrees of the planets of that day, fix the Navansha also generally. Moon can be wrong here. Sometimes Mercury can also be wrong in the Navansha because the birth time is not known. Other planets will generally not change in the Navansha. So I fixed this. And I said, now let me see what should be the Lagna. When I do Gemini, I will tell you how easily I can do this exercise and verify. I had done this last year at St. Raphael when I was teaching Gemini. What should be the Lagna and why? Give me a reason.
Statement and house of Jupiter in both.
Give reasons.
Well, I was just.
Don't say maybe. Give me reasons why you are saying what you are saying.
Because there's an exchange between the first and the 12, which gives him a tendency to.
Pardon?
I was postulating Makar Lagna because of the exchange between the first and the 12th, giving him a tendency to live in foreign places, and because of the Jupiter aspect onto the 7th house would give him a good marriage, a stable marriage, and because of the Lord of the 5th. In the 10th.
Well, Julia is giving Makar Lagna. Yes.
I will give Kumbha Lagna for the following reasons. Jupiter, Guru in Lagna, and Sun in the 10th house with Mercury and Venus would give rapid rise in government service, as well as fame and elevation, as well as the ruler of the 9th house in the 10th also will give you travel and long distance travel and positions. Rahu definitely will indicate that in the 9th house.
Good.
Strange place, new place, exotic place, foreign place. And from Romania, India will definitely fit that. Now the kidnapping aspect is inherent in the birth horoscope if there is indeed Kumbha rising by the 6th lord being the 8th house and afflicted by Mars. So that's why I'm talking.
Good logic anyway. Anyone else?
I had a different answer.
Yes?
I thought Sagittarius. Because
You are giving?
Sagittarius.
Sagittarius. Yes, why?
10th Lord is the 12th house. No.
Yes. Good one reason.
Joined with the Lord of 9 in his foreign travels.
Anyway, good, very good. Straight away when I got it, because of my experience, I said I will work on Sagittarius. Why Sagittarius? A man is an ambassador. One information known is he is an ambassador in a foreign country. Which is the place for a foreign country? 12th house. 9th and the 10th lords in the 12th house. Do you see a big Raj Yoga? right? 9th and the 10th lord, which means Sun and Mercury in the 12th house. So I said I'll give him Dhanur Lagna. 1. 2. Exchange between the 10th and the 12th lord. Again, remember the case of air hostess. Remember the earlier case of kidnapping. The 12th lord comes into operation. And the 12th lord is Mars now, the violent planet aspected by Saturn. Saturn-Mars opposition shows that violence. In the earlier case, the boy ran away from the house. In this case, the man was just going for a stroll in the morning. Terrorists came and kidnapped him. And a very good, decent, beautiful friend of mine in Delhi police, he came. He said, we are attacked from all sides. Internationally, Delhi police has lost its reputation. It was international news. India was being maligned in the foreign press everywhere. So I fixed instantaneously this Lagna. After fixing, that police officer asked that man in charge of that area, junior to him, to come to me. Take down some questions from me. Go to the wife of this ambassador, Mrs. Radu. Get answers to those questions. And on that basis, I would work further and fix her Lagna. I have no supernormal powers. That Yogi ji who will be coming this evening has supernormal powers. He can tell you your birth time. I can't do that. I go by event-based verification. So I wrote out certain things. I fixed Sagittarius as the ascendant for 3 reasons. There is a Raj Yoga in the 12th house. The Sun and Mercury combination giving him the post of an ambassador in a foreign country. Right? There is an exchange between the 10th and the 12th lords. Third reason for kidnapping to take place, the 12th lord has to come into play. Here Saturn-Mars axis has made this a big international news, very adverse to India. Violence in the Karma Sthana, 10th house. I had to meet the wife of the ambassador. The police officer came and said, please, instead of asking me to write it down, I have written down, why don't you come along? I said, I don't want to go. I don't know whether she believed in astrology, one. And the way she has been giving press statements, she may become very violent with me. Why should I go? He said, no, I assure you, she will be very polite. But I said, look at me. I am very skinny. And I showed her photo in the newspaper. 3 times my size. So I said, if I faint in her house. But he said, no, please come along. I went. I had to meet the wife of the ambassador, Mrs. A, I will call her, on October 20th, 1991, with my friend Chandragupta and Anpi Tareja. When I give a case study, in the case study, I always mention some names. You can always contact those people and find them out, because they had also gone with me. Mrs. A looked at the readings. Actually what happened was, this police officer was reading it out. So she snatched the paper from him. Let me see what this man has written. I had given to the police officer and she passed on some more information. I was very brief. I had not described the whole drama of the situation because I wanted to economize. My readings were summarized by my friend thus. Then On the basis of that, I came back, got information, fixed, worked further, and I gave this reading to my police officer, my friend, and that police officer put it on his record. That is there in the record of the Delhi police. A. The hostage seemed to have been lodged in southwest direction from his house. I am not going into those details. B. The hostage may not be in Delhi. C. He could be in Ajmer or any other pilgrim town of Rajasthan. West side could be that side. D. Some positive indications about his captivity are likely to be known by 27th October. On 27th October, Mercury was retrograding. You see the use you are making, mostly in USA, of retrogression of planets, combustion of planets, rising of planets, is what I do not agree with at all. I make use of this for timing an event. So Mercury was retrograding. Mercury is the 10th lord of this horoscope. Right? E. The star position of Mrs. A. She gave me her horoscope also, then her son's horoscope also. And her two sons indicate that 1. His release will be delayed, may take up to the end of November 1991. Kidnapped on October 9, 1991. But I said end of November 1991. And in discussing how I came to this period, end of November 1991, I will be giving you a combination. So I will give you a homework which you can go and test on your horoscopes tonight and report to me tomorrow, blind testing again. Each one of you who has married one, as who has lived in a marriage-like situation which is like marriage. Right? That combination I will give in the end. It calls for hard bargaining between abductors and negotiators. That is policeman's report. His health would deteriorate. He is likely to come back alive, but with ruined health. And F last, no danger to his life. These were my readings in the police record. This I had discussed already last year. And how I discussed this from Gemini angle, I take up in the Gemini class. My friend Mr. Tereja, who had gone with me, is a numerologist. So he applied his numerology. I'll read out, it is interesting. Mr. Tereja's reading based on numerology are the day of birth of Mrs. A, the ambassador's wife, is 18th. Of Mr. A is 18/11/1938. 18 is 8 plus 1? 9. The birthday of Mrs. A, ambassador's wife, is 27. 7 plus 2? 9. The house number where he used to live was 144. Right? The date of abduction was 9th October. The time of abduction was 9 a.m. So the lucky dates he worked numerologically, combinations 9, 21, 24, 27. That is his basis, I don't know. So both are there in the records of Delhi police. My readings which the wife of the ambassador had seen were, when I discuss Gemini, I will show it to you how I arrived at it. Between 1951 and 61, was he studying at some place other than his country? And did he achieve anything academic distinction? Could not be verified because that was before her marriage. After January 1964 and before the end of 1965 or up to April 1966, was his marriage finalized? A very important landmark. She said the date of marriage was October 16, 1965. Note down the date. October 16, 1965. Between December 1966 and March 69, was there any abortion or childbirth or vice versa? The first son was born in 1967. And there was an abortion. And the second son was born in August 1970. So I am coming nearest. Right? This I had written at home before going to her. She looked at it. She said, yes. Had he studied a foreign language other than his mother tongue? The answer was English and Hindi. In student days, he was in India and he had studied. Fifth, between 1970 and 1980, was he mostly out of the country? Answer was 1970 to 73, he was in India, naturally out of Romania. And 76 to 78 in Ceylon, mostly out of the country? She said yes. Between 1980 and 85, were there sharp changes in his career? Said 1979, he joined the Romanian TV. Sharp change in the career. Until 1990, he continued there. Is there a sister younger to him? Said no. Only one brother elder to him. The additional information passed on to me. Now this was my question. Now the additional information passed on to me was, Mrs. A was born on September 19, on some date in September 1940, between 9 and 9:30 a.m. in Bucharest. A brother younger to her died. She is the eldest. The ambassador's mother died when he was only 6 years old. His father died on January 1st or 2nd, 1978. The first son was born, please note down this date, October 22nd, 1967. How you verify a horoscope? October 22nd, 1967, first son was born. At Bucharest. The second son was born on August 26, 1970, Delhi, India. Between 6 and 6:30 a.m. The famous writer Mrs. Amrita Pritam, she is a very famous writer of India, saw the note and my readings in the first week of November 1991 at my place. She was then a member of the Rajya Sabha, the upper house of India. On November 25th, 1991, she came running to my place to tell me that the Home Minister had announced in the Rajya Sabha that the ambassador had come back home. She said, I was so excited. I saw your note in the house, which you had given to the police in the first week of November. No one could believe that the man would come back, and you said last part of November he would come back. So the moment he announced, I left the Rajya Sabha, came running to your house. This homecoming point which I give you is what you are going to do research upon tonight on your horoscopes, right? Marriage. He was married in the major period of Rahu. Now please write down what I fixed finally. Lagna is 21-13 degrees. That will shorten your work. Lagna ascendant is Sagittarius, 21 degrees 13 minutes. Sun is 222. Moon is 1918. Mars is 2211. Mercury 2253. Jupiter 0 degrees 53 minutes. Venus retrograde 5 degrees 25 minutes. Saturn retrograde 1851. Rahu 2447. And I gave him the Navansha Lagna as Tula, Libra. The timing of marriage should be done on the basis of appropriate sub-period, which should be the first, fifth or the seventh houses are their lords of the birth chart, the Navansha and the Saptansha. 1, 5, 7 of the birth horoscope of the Navansha and of the Saptansha. This is a principle you can test on your own horoscopes. 1, 5, 7 of the birth horoscope 1, Navansha 2, Saptansha is the 7th division 3. Children. Mars is the 5th lord of the birth chart, right? And the 7th lord of the Navansha, correct? With the Lagna lord of the Navansha. Conjoined with the Lagna lord of the Navansha, Venus. Okay, go next. In transit at the time of marriage, Saturn was in Aquarius. Now, because I'm talking about transits, I'm telling you first, after analysis of the horoscope, transit should come last, never first. So verify the past event. This is the transit position of October 16, 1965. The double transit in which I had done my major researches. They announced about the double transit. I am showing you now the use of double transit. Now, where is Saturn? Aquarius. Where is the 10th aspect of Saturn falling?
Scorpio.
And in Scorpio is the 7th Lord present? Yes or no?
Yes.
And where is Jupiter?
Seven.
Right? So Saturn is aspecting the 7th Lord, Jupiter is in the 7th house. So I said, well, it appeals to me. Right? What is marriage? Marriage is a bond between 1 and 7. Right? And this 1 and 7 bond has to be approved by Saturn and blessed by Jupiter. Saturn is the time clock. It is known as Kala. And Jupiter is the Deva Guru. He blesses. The blessings are offered by Jupiter. So Saturn approves and Jupiter blesses. Ronnie has missed the point. She was out. Okay.
Can you repeat it?
You wanted it
I want it.
and I was discussing and you escaped out of the room.
Can you repeat it?
The date of marriage is 16th October 1965 when Saturn was in Aquarius aspecting the 7th Lord Mercury in the 12th house. And Jupiter was in Gemini in the 7th house itself. Right? Clear? Okay? Second verification. The first son was born on October 22nd, 1967. Saturn was here retrograde. And Jupiter here. This you know is the Lagna. Right? A retrograde planet, according to the principles of Bhrigu, begins to give effect also from the previous house. So take Saturn one house back. It will act from Aquarius also, additionally.
It affects the 5th and 5th Lord.
It is aspecting the 5th house. From Pisces, it is aspecting the 5th Lord. Okay? Mars. From where it is aspecting Mars, who is the 5th Lord. Clear? And in the 9th house, which is the alternate house for children, 9th house has also to be taken. In my planets and children, I have discussed this point repeatedly. Jupiter is aspecting the 5th house from Leo. So it's okay, it appeals to me. Of course, I had, yes?
I have a question on a double transit. Let's say we're looking at an event, all right, so in this case of
Pardon?
if we're looking at, say, a 5th house event, in this case you'll have influence of Saturn and Jupiter from the Lagna in the 5th house. So we call that double transit. Does it also work if, say, Jupiter aspects the 5th from the Lagna and Saturn aspects the fifth from the moon?
No, I am not taking that. I am narrowing down. If you have too many parameters, you can explain anything. A research will mean blind test and has only 1 or 2 or 3 parameters and apply them. This research of mine has now been tested on thousands of horoscopes in India.